What's going on, everyone? It's Mr. West. I hope you're all well. So welcome back to another video test for the OnePlus 7 Pro, and this time exploring the features which have been added to the video modes with the Android 10 software update. So the purpose of the video is for those guys who haven't yet taken the plunge and updated their OnePlus 7 Pro to Android 10, and I'll just very quickly show you some of the new video features such as ultra-wide angle video recording and also video recording with the telephoto lens, and also the new super stable video mode. So as far as the front-facing camera is concerned, there's no changes, so you still get the decent 1080p video recording at 30 frames per second with electronic image stabilization. And as far as I can tell, color and exposure wise, everything pretty much looks exactly the same as with the Android 9 camera software. So I'll switch to the rear cameras now, and I'll just show you a quick demonstration of how the video looks with the additional lens support. So I'll just start with the standard wide lens first of all before I switch to the ultra wide angle. And there's a few things to note with these camera updates. So the ultra wide angle camera and telephoto camera video is only supported up to 4K at 30 frames per second and not 60 FPS. In all fairness, there's only a handful of phones that I know of which can record with the ultra wide angle lens at 60 frames per second, and that is, off the top of my head, the Asus Zenfone 6 and also the LG V50 ThinQ. If there are any others, then please let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to check those out. So another thing to mention before I show you the ultra wide angle video is that you cannot switch lenses on the fly, so to speak. So you have to stop recording, select the lens you want, and then start recording again, which is a bit of a shame. I would like to see that added, OnePlus, if you're watching, in a future update. However, you can't have everything, and the fact that they've listened to the feedback and including this feature is really, really good. Okay, so to give you an idea of the extra field of vision you get with the ultra wide angle camera, so this is the standard wide lens, and you can just about see this tree just off to my right here. And with the ultra wide lens, you can now see more of that. So it's as if you've taken a few steps back, but without actually having moved at all. Now, one thing I have noticed is that because of the image stabilization, which does crop in, and the fact that the OnePlus 7 Pro doesn't have the widest field of vision against some other smartphones, so it's 117 degree field of vision on the OnePlus 7 Pro versus 120 degrees plus on some other handsets, I feel like you are missing still a little bit with the ultra wide angle camera. But one good thing is that they've added electronic image stabilization, which means that the ultra wide video is nice and smooth. So stabilization wise, before we move to the telephoto camera, let's just go for a quick run. And hopefully you'll be able to see that that is kept nice and smooth. Now, the ultra wide is great for capturing scenes like this, where you need to fit a lot into the viewfinder, whereas with the standard wide lens, you can have to frame it a bit better to get the tops of the trees. Whereas with ultra wide, like I said, it kind of feels like you've stepped back a few yards without actually having moved, which is cool. Now, looking through the viewfinder while I'm recording, I have seen some drop frames in the video there. I'm not sure if that will translate once it's been rendered in the background. But you let me know what you think of the video. Okay, so just to give you a comparison of how close you can get with the telephoto camera, this is the standard wide lens, and this is with the 3x telephoto lens. There is some debate on whether it's a full 3x telephoto, and also do be aware that depending on the lighting, for example, when it gets a lot darker, then the main lens will step in and will crop instead of giving you a true 3x telephoto. But you can see there, you can get decently close to these objects without actually having to move anywhere at all, and with electronic image stabilization, it does help to do these kind of slow moving crab shots if you just want to move laterally in one particular direction and hold the phone steady. You can see there it doesn't get a lot of natural blur in the background, but still it's nice to have this feature. I can just step a bit closer. And the autofocus does a decent job of finding the subject. This is a moving plant, so obviously the focus is having to work that little bit harder to try and keep focus on that, but it's doing a decent-ish job. You can just see the focus just breathing in and out just slightly there as that plant moves. So to give you an idea, I'm stood around about 5 feet from these things. I'm not green fingered, so if you let me know what these are, I'll be very grateful. So you can tap to focus on the screen, and you can see now we've got a nice blurred background where I can tap anywhere on the screen. It'll then prioritize on background, tap on subject. We get a fairly good blur and sense of space between ourselves and the subject. Okay, so let's try out the electronic image stabilization with the telephoto lens. Now bear in mind, movements are much more exaggerated with the telephoto zoom camera. So here we go. And hopefully I haven't induced any motion sickness, but we can see, get a much clearer view of those houses out in the distance compared to the standard camera, which looks like this. So there's not a huge amount of zoom, as you can see, but it still gets reasonably close enough. And if you want to go further, you can pinch and you can do up to 10 times zoom, so it's 3 times optical and then a further 7 times digital on top of that. You can see a lot of over sharpening going on there on the houses, but if needs must, you can get a good deal into the distance. We can see the turbines up on the hill there and across the valley at 10 times zoom, and also those up on the further valley as well. We can just come back to the 3 times telephoto. You let me know what you think. Okay, so back on the standard wide lens now. So there's one last feature I want to show you, which has been included with the Android 10 software update in the camera department, and that is super stable video. Now, whether this has been influenced by Samsung's super steady mode on the Samsung Galaxy S10 and also the Note 10, I'm not really sure, but it does work really well. Now, the way it works is it uses the ultra wide angle camera and then it crops in on the image and uses some really seriously good stabilization to help make the image much more stable when you're moving faster, or for example, if you're hanging out of a window of a moving vehicle and you want to keep the action nice and steady. It's great for use in those kind of scenarios. So to activate super stable mode, if you just look over to the left hand side of the viewfinder, you'll see a picture of a hand with a line scored through it. You simply press that and you'll see a message at the top of the screen saying super stable, and that is the mode activated. You can access this from any video mode, so whether you're in 4K or 1080, 60, what have you, it will activate the mode automatically, and it records at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So let's show you how it looks. And this is with super stable mode activated, and you can see it is super stable. Now, due to the slightly uneven road surface, I am making movements with the phone, but they're completely undetectable through the video. Everything is just kept super stable. Now it does that by using a very heavy crop, and the outer edges of the image that you can't see are being electronically stabilized to help keep everything nice and straight. And even if I go for a run, you can see the video remains rock solid. Very impressive. And even just with lateral movements, again, my hands are wobbling a little bit due to the uneven road surface, but the phone is keeping everything really straight and nicely stabilized. Now, due to the fact it's using the ultra wide angle camera, you're not getting anything like any bokeh effects or autofocus, so do bear that in mind. But obviously using this mode, you're not going to be doing that kind of thing anyway, because it's not really for that. So that's it then. That's all of the new video modes for Android 10. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that you found this useful. If you are looking to upgrade your handset to Android 10 but haven't just done so yet, it's a very easy process. I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and check that out in your own time, and it shows you how to upgrade your OnePlus 7 Pro to the new Android 10 software. It doesn't require a PC or anything like that. It can all be done directly from your phone, and it takes around about 30 minutes altogether to get the whole process done, and it does work really well. So as always, if you've got any questions, then please leave those down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And don't forget, if you're new around here, then please consider subscribing and support the channel so you don't miss more videos coming very soon. But for now, this has been my roundup of the new video features for Android 10 on the OnePlus 7 Pro. My name's Mr. West, and I'll catch you guys later.